Every morning, the countdown begins for the markets with meticulous research and analysis designed to help you capitalize on the trading day. Beaming live from the CNBC TV18 Motilal Oswal studio.
Good morning. You're with us here on a fresh new edition of Bazaar Morning Call. Tuesday morning, we are coming to you as always from the CNBC TV18 Motilal Oswal studios. I'm Prashant, with me my colleague Surabhi and Nigel. Guys, morning.
Hi, morning folks. Slightly quieter because we don't have overnight US market action.
Yeah.
But then there's still plenty in the air when it comes to trade talks. There are lots of course, local news flow as well. So plenty that we have to go over today.
Well, that's right. And the rain has subsided as well. So that's pretty okay. I think last evening we were a bit worried about how we'll get home. And this morning, Prashant, I think one queue less to track. Other you get up, you have to look at the US markets. You know? Well, chill.
The kids were really looking forward to a rainy day.
Yeah.
That rained out, washed out, no school.
Yeah. But that didn't happen.
Okay, well, let's just quickly run you through what you need to know as you begin this new session. So no US. I mean, that's straight up the first point. Markets were shut because of US markets were shut because of Memorial Day holiday. By the way, UK markets were shut as well. So in that sense, not very much by way of cues. By the way, US Treasury futures are trading in Asia this morning. The 10-year closed at 4.51, remember, on Friday. Action will only pick up, as we go into the latter hours of the day, as we get closer and closer to the European session. Volumes pick up, and of course, right before US and once US starts trading. But I think, and I'm just sort of putting this out up there because bond markets and bond yields at the long end have been rising. There's been this gathering pressure across the board, not just in the US and Japan, UK, etc. And that remains the focal point from an equities perspective as well. Fiscal credibility remains a major drag on long end US treasuries with regards to that one big beautiful bill, as Trump has put it, the spending bill. So, tax cuts now, spending cuts later. It's the usual trickery. Which I think we are seeing once again. A lot of people actually at the margin are disappointed because this was being seen as a bit of a test that Trump is going to be fiscally conservative, fiscally responsible, but who can sort of, I guess, resist the allure to spend away and sort of, let it be the other guy's problem to manage the budget. I think that's essentially what's playing out, but we'll have to give it some more time till this is actually this passes the Congress fully. Now, as I said, bond markets are the focus. Treasury has announced $183 billion worth of supply this week. So there are auctions on Tuesday, that is today, tonight, that is Wednesday and Thursday. And I said this yesterday as well, the 7-year paper is being issued, is being sold on Thursday. And I think that's the longer end of what we're going to see. And demand here will be important in that sense. Now, just one more bit of news flow. Germany last night, gave Ukraine the green light to strike deep inside Russian territory. This is significant because, and the German chancellor essentially said there are absolutely no range limits anymore. Russia, of course, is calling this dangerous provocation. So you basically are talking about Ukraine using Western weapons, NATO-supplied weapons, German-supplied weapons, and other countries, and using those weapons to strike deep inside Russian territory. We're not looking at a ceasefire. Forget a ceasefire. We're looking at maybe escalation from here and no end to the war in sight. 2022 it started. We're in 2025, and there isn't very much which indicates that this is going to end anytime soon. Now, just to sort of tie in the levels here, news flow is limited. But yesterday, the Nifty continued its bullish momentum. We closed off the highs of the day, but 25,001. Nice round Shubh number. 25,001 was the final close, by the way, on the Nifty, as you can see. So we found support at the 20-day moving average. Immediate resistance is 25,116. We got very close to it, but just under 25,100 as of yesterday's high. Once that gets taken out, which I think it should, the next upside level is 23,310, which is the 78.6% retracement of the entire fall. And on the downside, 24,462, which is the recent low. And then the 20-day moving average comes in, which is 24,602. These are the two support levels on the downside. For the Nifty Bank, we could not close decisively above the high 55,695. So that remains the first level to take out, 55,695. And of course, I mean, once this gets taken out, I think we're looking at a retest of the all-time high on the Nifty Bank, not very much between where that number is and the all-time high. Support comes in at 54,576, which is the recent low, and the 20-day moving average, which is 54,995. So that's the picture as far as levels go on both the Nifty and the Nifty Bank. GIFT Nifty will give you a quick sense of how we are likely to start, and then we'll pick it up from there. It's absolutely flat, 15, 16 points lower on the GIFT Nifty. Surabhi.
Oh, well, absolutely. And actually, flat is the trend across most of the Asian markets. We don't have very clear directional moves across Asia. And the picture is fairly mixed. You have the Hong Kong Hang Seng, which is rebounding today because it was the down market yesterday. So there's some green out there. But then the mainland Chinese market is flat. The Nikkei is cooling off. So it's a little all over the place across Asia. US futures, however, last time I checked, were indicating a positive start, 1%. Remember, because tonight is when US markets will get to react to the fact that this 50% threat of tariffs has been pushed back as far as the EU is concerned. The currency markets are still very, very interesting. The dollar continues to hurtle down lower and lower. The dollar index is close to 1 month lows now. The last time we were at similar kind of levels, 98.20 thereabouts, was April. 21st of April was the low. So we're getting back to that level. The rupee has been strengthening, and I just want to mark this because yesterday was an important day for the dollar rupee. In intraday trades, it was actually going above the 85 handle as well, and the rupee is not alone. A lot of other Asian currencies have been strengthening. The yuan, for instance, yesterday hit a 7-month high. So the currency market action continues to be quite important. For us, of course, the Nifty at 25,000, that Shubh level, as Prashant calls it, 25,001. So let's see. It's consolidation, but the bias has been positive over Friday and yesterday as well. The flows picture, more domestic buying than foreign buying yesterday at a net level because foreign institutional investors bought net stocks. The buying was just about 140 crores. DIIs, as you can see, the number is there, northwards of 1,700 crores. Now, plenty of interesting local news flow, as I said. Number one, this whole war of the weekly expiries, it's getting more and more interesting because SEBI finally came out with its final policy on this. Till now, it was a consultation paper. And, the market regulator has indicated that weekly expiries will be limited to just 2 days of the week. And SEBI is going with Thursdays and Tuesdays. So all exchanges have to decide, pick one of these days. And then that's how the weekly expiry will happen. In fact, it's told exchanges to come forward with their independent proposals by the 15th of June and decide. And Bloomberg this morning was indicating that NSE will probably ask for the Nifty expiry to be on Tuesday. So let's see how this plays out. Watch for BSE as well and how the stock fares today in trade. Speaking of the F&O market action, there are new entrants as well. 361 Wealth Management, Amber Enterprises, K Fintech, and PG Electro. All these stocks get added to F&O. This is effective the 27th of June. So some interesting trading action expected there. And interesting block deal action as well expected today because our colleagues have been indicating that Indigo, that's the first one that could be on the radar. Rakesh Gangwal could be selling up to 3.4% stake. The floor price is about 5,175. The other one is PG Electroplast. And watch for PG because here promoters are likely to sell and they could be selling as much as 5.6% stake. So this is going to keep both of these stocks in very sharp focus. So lots of local news flow, lots of stock-specific action that should drive the day today. Nigel.
Well, that's right. In yesterday's trading session, as you all said, the Nifty managed to get to that Shubh level of around 25,000 odd mark. But it was without the FIs because the FIs were on a holiday. If you look at the gross participation yesterday, it was much lower than what we've seen on an average in May 2025 because the US market, UK market as well was shut. That's one probable reason out there. Now, yesterday's trading session, the Nifty went up, but the VIX as well moved up. Sometimes, that's a little bit of a caution, though I don't think it's that bad because the VIX is still very much at the lower end of the range, at around that 18-odd level. Not a cause of worry till it gets to the 20 to 23-odd mark, which we saw earlier in the series itself. Moving to what the rollover picture, then we have the monthly expiry that will play out. And the Nifty rollover actually is much higher than what we saw in the past series. On D-3, that is the expiry is 3 days away. If you take D-3 and you compare it with the previous series, this time around it's at around 50% odd. The last time around it was close to around 30%. So the Nifty rollovers are higher, while the Nifty Bank rollovers actually are relatively lower because this time it's at around 35%. The last time around it was around that 45% odd mark. So Nifty rollovers relatively higher. What did the FIs do? Well, they added more longs than short positions in the ratio of close to around 2 longs for every one short position. They continue to remain net short with close to around 65% of their positions on the short side. So that's come down a little bit from around that 68% odd mark. And in absolute terms, the FIs, they are net short with 50,000 contracts on the short side, while the clients are net long with close to around 50,000 contracts on the long side out there. Which brings us to the options data. Since we have that expiry that's going to be playing out in the next two or three trading sessions, the 25,000 call, 25,000 put, fairly active in trade yesterday. Same strike, you see writing on both these two, then it appears as a strategy at plays. It's known as a short straddle, where those traders, they are looking at writing both the strikes and pocketing the premium. In this case, it's around 400 rupees. So those that are moving with this strategy, they are looking at the 24,600 mark to hold out on the downside. And on the upside, 25,400. But in the near term, you've got some crucial levels. So going by the options data, the 24,800 mark for the day, you don't want this level to get breached. On the upside, this resistance level, that's the mark that I'm looking at, going by the options data and going by the call writing that we saw at around the 25,000 call or thereabouts. But the 20 DMA, that's important. That's a deeper, support level that we're looking at. The Nifty Bank, it's gradually making its way to around the 56,000 odd mark. Today could be the day that it goes ahead, tries to challenge that 56,000 mark and actually crosses above that mark. So we'll have to keep an eye out on that. The stock that I'm looking at for today is going to be Eternal. Yesterday as well, the stock got, pulled back a little bit. That's because, in fact, we did see the expectation that was there from the street with regard to the FTSE rebalance that was a little bit more severe. So yesterday it got hit by close to 4.5%. Today is when the FTSE rebalance takes place in the final hour of trade. So you'll expect passive selling of close to around $300 million approximately. The MSCI rebalance will be on Friday. So I'll keep an eye out on the stock. Remember, this is a bit of a blow for the stock in today's trading session. But at around 215, 220, that's a crucial support zone. $300 million of passive selling is what we look forward to.
All right, Nigel, thank you very much for that. So that's the setup and lots of interesting stuff to track in terms of those individual names as well.